Ah, it's a mystery. What enticing, what intriguing words. And mystery is everywhere there's curiosity and imagination. Welcome, curious listeners who imagine what if.
That was Wendy Kendall. I'm Susan McCormick. Together with Michael Erdahl and Linda Hope Lee, we form the Cozy Mystery Quartet. Last time, we discussed characters in cozy mysteries, likable characters we will see book after book, always amateurs and usually a woman or a gaggle of women. Today, we will discuss setting, which is often a character in itself. Cozies most often take place in an enclosed space where all the characters know each other and each other's secrets, and more importantly, the reader knows the killer will be amongst them. Think of the country estate where the unwitting might gather for a weekend. Agatha Christie, the grande dame of cozy mysteries, was a master at setting. She often used the enclosed space. For instance, the river cruise ship in Death on the Nile, the train in Murder on the Orient Express, or the island in And Then There Were None. One of her quintessential characters, Miss Marple, lived in a small English village, and many a cozy writer has gone on to set their cozies in a similar town. The other benefit to the enclosed setting is that the characters, the sleuths, the victims, and the suspects alike all have something in common and are willing to talk freely because they all know each other. In addition, they cannot easily escape, so when tensions rise and the killer is afoot, there is no place to go, no place to hide. My cozy mystery, The Fog Ladies, is set in an elegant apartment building in San Francisco. The kernel of the idea for the story came to me years ago when I lived in just such a building, minus the old ladies dying. People of all ages lived there, single people like me, young families with babies, middle-aged couples, and many, many older women. Being the cozy murder mystery lover that I was, I realized my building would make the perfect cozy type enclosed setting for a series of murders. I gave the building some character, with etched glassed windows and an oiled mahogany table and slate floors in the lobby. In the first Fog Ladies book, the setting is so important that it actually plays an integral role in the murders, in true cozy fashion. Wendy, would you like to say something about setting?
I once spoke with noir author Steph Cha about setting. She said that in noir, curtains and blinds are all firmly closed, leaving dimly lit rooms. I said in cozies, all curtains and blinds have to be wide open so everyone can see and hear their neighbors and talk about each other. Gossip within a community is a very effective cozy clue. Cat out of the bag finds celebrated international purse designer Catherine Watson stuck, as she says, in Bayside, Washington. To help her family, Catherine is staying with them in her hometown, which is a small town suburb north of Seattle with gorgeous views over the water, a main street of small businesses, and it's populated with loving and memorable residents. She's traded her condo for her family's renovated old farmhouse. The foundation of Bayside is elements of several small towns I've known. From there, it truly took on a life of its own, especially as its fictional residents took it over. College student Amber manages the gift shop at Catherine's Bayside Museum. Amber finds herself in the midst of a mystery of her own. Here's her drive through Bayside to meet her boyfriend, Michael. Amber drove the back alleys to get to Michael at the Founders Museum. She could slide right into the back alley parking. The maze of alleys that crisscross throughout Bayside always delighted Amber. Not like dirty and dangerous places in some cities, Bayside's alleys were dirt drives that were well maintained by the people with homes or buildings looking out on them. Much of it was lined with potted flowers. Amber had learned that these alleys had started out as practical driveways to businesses and homes. During the once thriving smuggling ventures between Canada and the Seattle area, they'd really grown as alternatives for moving merchandise from the water, beaches, and coves. Amber sometimes imagined stories of clandestine romantic rendezvous along Romeo and Juliet balconies overlooking alleys here and there. Or she'd sometimes daydream about daring adventure scenes. Linda, what do you have to say about setting?
Well, thank you, Wendy. Hello, everyone. The setting in my book, Murder Between the Pages, is a combination of fiction and reality. Richmond, the town north of Seattle, is fictitious. Yet the town has several real features one would find in that area. For example, there's a ferry terminal with ferries traveling back and forth across Puget Sound. The ferries are not merely idle props, but worked into the plot. The Seaview Library, where Nina works, is a fictitious place. I use it to reveal an aspect of her character, as shown in what happens when she returns there after discovering her friend's murder. Nina opened the plate glass door to the Seaview Branch Library and stepped inside. An immediate sense of relief washed over her. She loved the library, and she loved her job. Shelf after shelf and row upon row of books, all arranged in precise order, offered protection from the chaotic world outside. Another fictional setting element important to the plot is the bookstore owned by the murder victim, Wildine Bergman. We first see only the room where Nina discovers Wildine's body. But later on, she enters the store again, and we get a broader picture. Beyond several rows of low, freestanding shelves, customers sat in a grouping of comfortable chairs. A table held the makings of coffee and tea, and the aromas of both hung in the air. Next to the reading area, a wrought iron staircase led to the second level, where, in addition to more books, a domed skylight allowed light to beam on the lower level. Even though today's skies were gray, the window added a cheerful note. Well, perhaps cheerful on that occasion, but later on, the domed skylight plays a much more dangerous role. Yes, setting is an important element of the cozy mystery. Michael, tell us about the setting in your book.
Hi, everybody. Setting is an important subject for me. My main character is a wilderness guide based out of the city of Seattle, but she is sent out to remote locations with a small group of people. It allows me to create a situation much like Agatha's Murder on the Orient Express, where the list of suspects is short enough that my amateur sleuth has a chance to actually find the killer without needing police resources. For me, I grew up camping and hiking in the Pacific Northwest, and I have a deep abiding love of the outdoors. It's a natural setting for me to write about and creates a chance to take the readers to beautiful places they may never get a chance to see themselves. I also find it fascinating to explore different locations. For example, in my first book, in addition to the outdoors, my sleuth finds herself in suspects' homes, a homeless shelter, a historic bar in the alley of the venerable Seattle International District. Each one of these locations can bring optimism, fear, curiosity, and comfort to the characters as they navigate solving a murder. Physical location isn't the only aspect of setting that I play with. Seeing as my settings include a lot of nature, I like to use weather to set the proper mood. Exploring outside in the winter, snowy forests and cabins. Upset about the unfairness of the world, Pacific Northwest drizzle. Romantic stroll outside, light snowfall. Setting is so much more than where the book is set. It is also the mood or feeling a book imparts. Despite typically dealing with murder, the mood of a cozy should be light. The mood can be affected in a lot of ways, including the physical setting, dialogue, and the words you choose to describe a scene. These are the ways that we all like to use the proper setting for cozy mysteries. But how do you keep the mood light when you're dealing with murder and the crime's suspects? Next episode, we talk about how these aspects can be weaved into the narrative while staying true to the genre. For Wendy Kendall, Linda Hope Lee, Susan McCormick, and myself, M.L. Erdahl, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next episode. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it.